What's up, guys? Episode 1 of the video podcast. I thought I'd try it out as I don't have a guest this week. Unfortunately, our plans changed. It was a bit late notice, but that's all good. We'll get him in next time. So this week I thought, why not? Go for it. So we're going to start a YouTube for the Kickback. So it's a little bit different. So we'll be kicking that off this week. For the audio listeners, I'm still here. I'll still upload it like normal. So what I want to do today, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me initially. So first off the rank, thanks for being here. It really, really means a lot to me that people are listening, and it's great to see that, the word's getting out about it and that more and more people are listening, because this means a lot to me. And I want it to be a place of positivity, especially in this weird, trying time that we're going through at the moment, with COVID-19. It's separating a lot of us. So I'm really trying to create something here that can bring us all together. So like always, guys, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe, all that different sort of stuff. So all that stuff makes the difference to me, to the podcast, getting it out to other people. So thank you. A big shout out to everyone that started subscribing. Apple's up and running, Spotify, all that sort of stuff. And now with the YouTube, hopefully we'll see something a bit different. So it's taken me a while to sort of set this video up. I've been trying to do a couple of different, systems and ways of doing it. So we'll be toying with that for a little while, I guess. I'm sure I won't get it right straight away. But that's sort of half the game, and if it was easy, everyone would do it. So what do I want to touch on today, guys? There's a couple of things that I wanted to go through with you that we haven't really spoken about too deeply. And one of them's probably my sobriety. It's one of the biggest things that I hold for myself, and I guess within my relationship with my wife and within my relationship with my friends as well. So I've been sober now, I think we decided the other day, like 260 days or something like that. It is on my phone, but it doesn't really matter too bad. And a lot of people have asked, like, why? What happened? Was there a big event? And to be perfectly honest, there was no big event that made me change my mind. It was a lot of little events. I have had couple of big events, but they weren't enough for me to sort of change my ways, which is something that I see a lot, in guys or in girls, I'm sure. I actually don't know of any girls in recovery, but for me and for the people that I do know, it takes a while for it to sort of set in that this is what's happening. So long story short, I've always been around alcohol as an Australian, especially, and as a tradie. There's actually, I want to introduce this segment to the podcast, and it's definitely not a gloating or a proud story, but just to share a story or a memory I have of my alcohol use and my drug use times, to really drive home. I understand the person that I was. I know that I wasn't a good person. But I am here now, and I'm really trying to make a difference, not just for the outside world and for you guys watching, but also, in my own life. I want to be happy. And that's honestly the biggest driver for my sobriety. I want to be a happy guy. I want to live a happy, healthy, full life. And I don't want to spend days hungover or on a come down because I partied too hard last night or the day before. And the longer that I can stay with this sober lifestyle, it really helps reiterate the fact that I've made the right decision for me, for my marriage, for my friendships, for my relationships with my family, all that sort of stuff. It makes a huge difference, because I did lose a lot of friends. I don't know who watches this, and I don't know if some of those boys and girls still might watch it, and it is difficult for me to talk about the relationships that I used to have without a sense of guilt and without a feeling of, loss, because I lost brothers, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, they were there for me when I was at my darkest, and I would have been a fucking nightmare to deal with, I'm sure. So to those boys, I know you know who you are, and this isn't, me trying to crawl back into your lives or anything like that, but I've wanted to apologise for a long time, and I guess this is the time. So, boys, I'm sorry for what happened. It is what it is at this point. You know, I'm just really sorry that it all went down like it did, because I think about you a lot, and I wish you as well. And I hope that, like, I'm not proud of what I did or how I handled it, that's for sure. And it's not just, my friends, it's a lot of my family as well. I alienated a lot of my family. Turn up to events, things like that, either high or pissed or hungover. A lot of Christmases, a lot of family events I spent asleep because I was hungover, and Christmas nights and things like that were always supposed to be family time, or supposed to be a bit more tame, and I always made a shit show of them. And it's definitely not, like, I don't want this to be a whinge or like pity me. I just want people to understand why I've made the decision to be sober, because it's hard for people to try and understand. Damn, look at that hand tan. I've never noticed that. That light is just... That's what happens when you wear long sleeves, ladies and gentlemen, every day. That's horrific. Gonna have to get the other arm tattooed now. Shout out to Luke Muller. I don't know if you listen, but shout out to you. Well, obviously we can't get tattooed at the moment, but if you want to get tattooed, go see the boys down at True Love at Sherwood. They'll hook you up. What the fuck just happened? What was I talking about? Yeah, so I lost all my friends, basically all of them, just like that. Alienated a lot of my family, and push came to shove for me to pull my finger out and get my act together when my marriage, it didn't end, thank fuck, but couldn't have been much closer. And that was July last year, after years and years of shit decisions on my behalf, putting alcohol before my marriage, which is disgusting to me in hindsight, but hindsight's 20/20, like we know. So now it's just about going forward in a positive way, making better decisions, making decisions that are putting the things that are important to me first, and not giving that side of me any sort of time, because there's options. I can always stop and get a beer, but it's weighing up the fact that, do I want to have a beer, or do I want to have a great marriage? Or do I want to go and smoke up with the boys, or on Saturday I managed to run my first half marathon? So it's things like that where it's like, fuck, man, it's just about priorities. And I guess that's the hardest thing, to get my head around, because I lived for so long in a wild environment. And you see boys like C-Rex when he comes on the podcast, and you hear about what he's been up to, and you just look at the dude, you're like, damn, that dude's wild. But what am I trying to say? Oh, that was weird. I lost it. Who knows? But yeah, so I am in recovery. I attend AA. I struggle with AA a little bit, but it's just about making it work for yourself. It's a lot to do with a higher power, and a higher power is different for everybody. Some people it's God. Some people it could be a place. It could be a thing. It could be a feeling. It is what it is, basically. But there's a lot of things about AA that aren't to do with God, or actually aren't at all to do with drinking, which is a funny thing from the outside, I'm sure. But AA has taught me so much about my own thinking when it comes to my relationships and the way that I see the world, rather than the drinking. The thinking is the thing that's really helped, I guess, change my habit. Because you can say you're not going to pick up that first drink, but a lot of alcoholics and alcoholism in general isn't to do with the alcohol. It's about the person, if that makes sense. Because lots of people can drink and be fine. So it's not the alcohol's fault. It's the person, it's what they're up to, and it's what's built them. Because and it sounds very airy-fairy in today's day and age because there's a lot of talk of, you know, inner child trauma and, you know, things like that. But it's true, which is surprising to me because I always heard it, and I thought like, oh, it seems like so like, I don't know what the word is, but like punsy, I guess. Like this is just some airy fairy, like grab your crystals, put them in your pocket, let's roll. But we are shaped so heavily on what we saw or what we were around as kids, and I guess that has played a big role in my development, especially when it comes to my relationship with alcohol. And I don't want anyone to think that because I don't drink, I expect them to not drink, or I can't be around alcohol or anything like that. Like, that's always a weird thing because I'll go out, or I'll go out for a meal, or I'll go see someone and they'll say, oh, sorry, we won't, and it's not like that. Like, have a beer. You enjoy yourself. I'm going to enjoy myself now. It took me a long time to be able to enjoy myself without it. But I don't expect you to change your life for me. Hell no. I want you to enjoy your life, enjoy your beer, enjoy your wine, enjoy your whatever it might be. And I'll enjoy my coffee. Or I'll enjoy my sparkling water, or whatever the fuck it is that I'm drinking that day. Just because it didn't work for me, well, that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit to me. Because I don't know what you're up to. I don't know what you do. You could be an outstanding person and you have a glass of wine with every meal, or even just once a glass of wine with dinner every night. Who am I to say that's wrong? I don't fucking know. I don't know at all. So yeah, I don't know what tangent I was on there, but so yeah, I go to AA. I have for a long time, and I guess yeah, like I was saying before, I wanted to share a story, sort of every podcast about some memories that I have about drinking. So not to, and I definitely don't want to show pride in it or talk about it, but I want people to be able to understand where I'm coming from, because it's weird for me to be on the outside and people to say like, oh no, it's fine to drink. Alright, this is a perfect way to put it. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's fine to drink. Have a beer, man. Just one. So, I have worked in the past for quite a few building companies, and as everyone knows, builders are pretty, alcohol is pretty big on a building site. I used to work with a bunch of guys, and we used to have beers on a Friday afternoon on site. The owner used to bring them over, and we used to race home pissed in our cars. There's a couple of us, and we were on a one-lane road, and we used to race. And there's afternoons I don't remember the drive. And this was probably when I was only 18 or 19. So, and that's probably 20, 25 minutes through pretty heavily suburban areas actually. And we were legless, and actually racing utes, maybe with trailers as well. And I look back on memories like that and I think what the fuck? What if something horrific had happened? What if you'd crashed or you killed someone else all because you wanted to have a beer? And to me, I don't even see it being an issue at the time. Hindsight, like we were talking about before, without the hindsight 2020 vision, I look back and I think, fuck, what the fuck was I thinking? But, looking back on it, it is horrific to me, and it's memories like that really reiterate that this is the right decision for me. It's funny thinking about those times because it brings up memories of one of the boys that unfortunately isn't with us anymore. Shout out to BMD. It's been a while now, but we lost him a while back, and it's something that really has driven my, I guess, interest and really driven home men's mental health being a huge issue within our community. This took a fucking turn, didn't it? But sorry, this is my podcast, so you're stuck with it now. I was actually chatting with one of the boys that's released his own podcast as well, and he started a group called the Shaka Project. Shaka. Shout out to him. So we'll hopefully talk to him soon. But yeah, especially with everything going on in the world at the moment, guys, like make sure that you're reaching out to people, to professionals, family, friends. If you are feeling, you know, depressed or anxious, sad, even just lonely, man. Those feelings can be so horrific to deal with, and I've dealt with them, a vast array of them. I deal with them on a day-to-day basis as well. I'm the first to speak out and say that I take antidepressants, and I hope that there will one day be no stigma against that, because fuck, saved my life. And that's the honest truth. That with therapy, with a lot of different things, but I would never take out one of those elements, because I don't know. It's like Jenga or a card house. If you take out one of those aspects, who knows what could happen from there. If anyone's wondering what that red light is, it's just a mouse. I got confused as well. But yeah, and I'm the first to tell people that I do, because I don't want stigma. I don't want to ever see someone stigmatized because they have made a decision to try and better themselves or to try and better their mental health. And if you're one of those sort of people that does have that, then I'd love to talk to you, because you got it fucking wrong, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, SSRIs and whatever the other one are, like there's lots of them. It's different. It's about trying to find the right one for you, that will work. And I've been through a bunch, and I know a lot of people that have been through a bunch as well, to try and find the right ones. But it's a game changer. It really is. And some people don't really understand mental health, or not that they don't understand it, but they don't have compassion because they don't go through those feelings, which is 100% valid. Like, there's a lot of feelings that I'll never understand as well, but it's about having compassion to those people that do. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean that those feelings aren't real, and that those feelings aren't real to them as well, and they have a huge impact on their day-to-day lives. So make sure you're just being kind to each other, especially in this time where we're stuck at home and we can't get out too much and see our friends and do our normal stuff. Like, I'm really lucky that I've got a home gym, because that thing's just getting an absolute workout lately. Like I said, on Saturday I ran a half marathon for the first time. But yeah, there's a lot of things that help, but it's hard, especially if you're in isolation and things like that. So make sure that you are looking out for each other, and if you are struggling, reach out to whoever. And this is me saying, reach out to me if need be, because I'll be there. I understand the feeling. I understand the loneliness and the pain and the guilt and the suffering and the whatever it might be. Like, you're not the first to go through it. Whoever needs to hear this, you're not the first to go through it. And there's a lot of us within the community, the wider community, that have compassion towards you, and we want to help. And that's to do with alcohol, drugs, suicide, anxiety, just general depression, all that vast array of just human emotion. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but let me tell you, from someone that's gone through it, from the bottom of it to the highs, the lows, the valley, the peaks, talking about it really helps. And if you're not comfortable, then find someone that you're comfortable to talk to, because it will mean it. But you're not alone. There's a lot of different groups, even on Instagram. If you don't want to go face to face, like I said, the Shaka Project, look them up. I'll tag them in the show notes at the bottom of the episode, but I'll also throw it up on my Instagram story. Build a Brotherhood, that's another awesome group run by Peter. And there's Beyond Blue, there's Lifeline, and there's a lot of professionals that really know how to handle this stuff well. And if you feel like you're not there, or it's not that bad. You just talk to your mates, you know, boys, girls, you know, family, stuff like that, because we care. You know, we really do care. Wow, that was tough. That was really tough. Um, I guess to touch on quarantine, let's try and drag ourselves back out of there. Um, yeah, I've been doing a lot of physical work. I've got some gardening lined up with quarantine. What are you guys up to? Tell me what you're up to. I'm gonna put out a bit of an Insta poll just because I want to see what everyone's up to. I know a lot of people are doing like arts and crafts and stuff like that. Gardening, I know, is a big one. Happy Easter! Actually, I just realised, Happy Easter, y'all. We ate way too much chocolate on Sunday. Sunday must have been Easter Sunday. Might have been Easter Monday. We might have been cheap and snuck up to the shops and got some eggs when we did the groceries. I don't remember, but it was delicious. So yeah, Happy Easter to all those that celebrate because of their religion. Happy Easter. All those that celebrate because it's a day off and you like to eat chocolate. Happy Easter to you. There's no reason to hate on each other for that. I've seen a bit of that going around as well, but guys, you know, each to their own. Everyone knows that I spent a little while in Bible college, and you know, my faith is something that I battle with a lot. But when it comes to Easter, it's just about, and it's a lot to do with everything really, but it's just about love, you know. It's just about loving each other and loving your family and enjoying your time off. And just, yeah, love for each other. Coming up, we got Anzac Day as well. Anzac Day is going to be a weird one. That's a big one that I celebrate. Obviously, no ceremonies this year, so there's a big push to do a end of the driveway at dawn. So if you don't know anything about that, make sure you Google it, because yeah, Anzac Day is pretty important. You know, we wouldn't have the life we have without military servicemen and women from Australia and New Zealand that have put in the hard yards over the last however many years it might be, to get us to where we are. And that's something that I'm really proud of. I've got a lot of friends that serve. So to them, thank you. To everyone else, you know, that does serve, that I don't know, thank you as well. So yeah, Anzac Day, make sure that you look that up, because it's very important. It's very important to realise and understand the seriousness of Anzac Day and why we celebrate it. Because a lot of people, you know, think that war is something that shouldn't be celebrated, but you know, war is a weird one because no one wants it. If you could have life without war, if the world was perfect, then that would be great. No one wants to have a war or wants to see people die. But unfortunately, it's a part of our lives, and people that volunteer their lives to go over there or to fight a battle or to, you know, help people through the military, through the defence force, be it Army, Navy, Air Force, they deserve, to me, they deserve all the money. Give them all. First responders, those guys should have all the money. I'd happily give them more. They deserve it. Police, fireys, ambos, shout out to you guys as well. Not to do with the Anzac Day, but thanks. This is a deep episode, isn't it? This is a bit much. One thing that I want to touch on to get us out of this deep thing is Joe Exotic, Tiger King. I'm sick of it. If anyone wants to talk about Tiger King, talk to fucking someone else, because I'm done with it. Alright? It's completely overdone. I haven't even watched it, and I feel like I know everything about it. Carol Baskin killed her husband, fed him to the animals, and Joe Exotic was a fucking Fruit Loop who got some dudes methed up and had sex with them. That's all I need to know. Don't keep tigers in cages because they'll fuck people up. Anything in a cage is a shit idea, basically, unless it's, you know, something that's endangered maybe or injured, and you're doing the right thing by keeping it alive, and it's in a certain way. But it feels weird. Zoos and shit like that, and anything to do with Tiger King, you can just shove it up your ass because I'm sick of it. What else do I have to talk about today? I don't want to keep continuing on this like deep dark thing. Oh yeah, UFC was obviously it got cancelled with everything going on. Then it got put back on again, and it sounded like Dana was going to get it passed, but now it's cancelled again. The California governor, said, nope, no good. So I was reading today actually that Dana White's looking at buying an island to run UFC off, which might be the most balling move I've ever heard in my whole entire life. Just gonna buy an island so dudes can have cage fights on it. Damn, I love it. I love everything about it. There was a really cool podcast today. Just to shout out, let me look up his name just so I don't get in trouble. But this is just a shout out to another young dude that started his own podcast. I want to shout out Sean Weir on Instagram. I'll put his Instagram tag in the bottom. But he started his own podcast. I was listening to it today. It is called Ba 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 Da Ba Ba Da Ba Ba. Oh shit! What am I looking at here? It's called the 100% Podcast with Sean Weir. Weir. Make sure you look into it because it's really cool. He's just got a couple of episodes up. He's just starting off as well. He's a PT, Jack City, shredded dude. Very handsome man. But yes, anyways, that's not what we're on about here. So make sure you look into that podcast because he's awesome. He's actually, I believe he's the founder of the Shaka Project. So yeah, check that out. I'll put him in the show notes. I'll also tag him on Instagram as well. Another great podcast that has come out over the last little while, I only found today, is Forrest Galante's new podcast called The Wild Things, maybe. If you don't know who Forrest Galante is, well, shit. You should. Let's just say that. It's called the Wild Times Podcast. Forrest Galante might be the most interesting guy in the whole entire world. He has a show on, I don't know, we can't watch it anywhere actually. It's probably on some weird, it might be on Amazon. Nah, I'm not going to say it's on there because I don't know where it is actually. But he has a show called Extinct or Alive, and he goes into the wild and searches for extinct animals. So, related to Australia, he's actually super into the thylacine. So if you don't know what the thylacine is, it's the Tasmanian tiger. And there's a lot of, it could be hootenanny, it could be hearsay, but he believes that the thylacine could be around somewhere still. But yeah, he's the one that stood out to me, and also listened to his podcast today, was about the Zanzibar leopard. If you haven't heard about it, look him up. Forrest Galante is a biologist. He actually started because him and his grandfather were fishing, and his grandfather caught a fish that was something, I'm gonna fuck it up, but I want to say 20 million years extinct, and that sort of set him off. He's from Zimbabwe in Africa. Just an awesome dude, awesome guy, huge on Instagram, possibly the coolest Instagram ever, just with the animals that he's found. And yeah, so check it out, the Wild Times Podcast and the 100% Podcast with Sean Weir. Two awesome podcasts that have come out at the moment. Or not just come out, but only a few episodes there, so you can stay on board. What else have I been listening to? Obviously, JRE will always be up there. Dax Shepard, my boy. He actually has a really good idea. It's just to close off the whole sobriety and AA thing. He talks about how, because Dax is sober, obviously, if you don't know, Dax and Theo Von, they're my two boys, sober boys. But Dax talks about how he needs to be solid enough in himself to know that he might be in a situation where there's alcohol or drugs, before he gets to the point where there is alcohol or drugs. Because, and this relates a lot to me as well, if you put cocaine in front of me and I'm not solid enough before I see the cocaine, I'm doing the cocaine. It's that simple. So before I'm introduced to the cocaine, I want to know that I'm not going to do it before I see it. And that's to do with alcohol, that's to do with, the crystal, that's to do with whatever it might be. So just to close out the whole sobriety thing, working on myself, working on ourselves as a sober community. It's about just strengthening ourselves. There's a lot of guys that are actually being really vocal about the sobriety. Shout out to Mitch Orville, probably the biggest one from our sort of, from our area and from our sort of generation at the moment. Local boy, everyone knows who Mitch Orville is, I'm sure. JRE obviously, Fighter and the Kid, blow the belt this past weekend, King and the Sting, all those sort of things. If you're stuck in quarantine, hit me up. I got the podcast goods. What else? Let me know what you're up to during your quarantine. We're going round this out now with a little bit of something. Check out the YouTube. I'll link the YouTube to the Instagram. I'll try and get it all running pretty smoothly, so we'll see how we go. But guys, for now, I appreciate it. Stay tuned. Subscribe, like, share, blah, 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 blah. I love you all. Thank you very much. Talk soon. Peace.